Have you ever heard of the term information feudalism before?
No.
Okay. So the very first time I heard information feudalism was from Dr. James Lindsay. Are you familiar with James Lindsay by chance?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was on one of his episodes, on his podcast episodes on his new discourses platform, he talked about information feudalism, and it was on his episode about the second enlightenment, which I thought was really interesting. It was very much a white pill episode, and what was really interesting about it is he used that to describe the way mass, quote unquote mainstream media, which I don't think it's mainstream anymore. That's why I don't refer to it as such. I just refer to it as a corporate press. But basically, what he basically described is that the fact that it was all centralized, is all one in one place. That's why it's kind of why some people refer to it as the establishment. And so what I thought was really astounding, putting that into context of what my sister, as well as Ricada, all those other law tubers together, what you all were doing is you were disrupting said information feudalism, which I thought was really great, because I can't think of a time. I mean, I'm 37 years old, but I can't think of a time in my lifetime, not that I'm that old, but I can't think of any moment where we had a moment that was very similar to what we saw with the Rittenhouse trial, for example, where you had a stream, you had a whole bunch of lawyers such as yourself providing commentary in real time as it was happening, which I thought was very, very beneficial to the public at large. And I that was just really useful. And it's just like, at one point, let me ask you this: at what point are you? Do you see yourself as like becoming almost like a journalist? I mean, like it's so close to like doing like, I mean, especially not to get into the Maxwell stuff, for example, that I would consider that actual like journalism, what you were doing.
That was journalism. Yeah. And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until I didn't realize that's what I was doing until I actually started recording stuff. And I was like, I'm standing here like another freaking journalist. Right. This is like there's a whole bunch of journalists standing there and they're doing their recordings and I'm doing my recording. I was like, holy hell, I became a journalist. This is pretty wild.
Yeah. It just completely changing the way we consume, mass media, so to speak, the way we consume information nowadays. And that's one of the things I was like truly appreciative of what you all were doing, because it was another source of information. But correct me if I'm wrong, and I want to try to make sure I'm being as measured with my words as I say this, but none of it was really watered down. I mean, I don't think any of you were really holding back with anything what you were saying, and not trying to. I know one of the things that Kurt, Uncivil Law does, he accuses legal ego of hiding the ball. I mean, like, I'm not sure what your thoughts were. Like, how do you look back on that with respect to like what I've been saying about information feudalism?
So, with respect to that experience, it was a really interesting thing being a part of that, because it was obvious that we were part of some sort of like small cultural phenomenon. Right. And even right now, looking back on it, it's still too soon to know what type of genuine impact that's going to have, whether that was a one-off or whether that's something that will continue to snowball. And obviously, we're all hoping that it continues to snowball. Not just we, part of LawTube. I think that all the people who were watching us, they were calling and basically saying, we want more of this type of content. Right. I don't know that the Rittenhouse trial was somewhat unique in that it was a case that all of America was it was very polarizing for America. You were more so than, let's say, the last big trial before that, which was the Chauvin trial. So the Chauvin trial was polarizing, but not quite as polarizing, because it's not as if there was conservatives who were standing up for Derek Chauvin. There wasn't that type of thing of like, wow, he better win because this is an injustice if he loses.
Right.
Nobody felt that way, because a lot of people looked at it like, you know what, he really might have killed that guy, in which case he should go to jail. That's how conservatives think. It's not like it's my guy. He's not my guy because he's a cop. He's either guilty or he's innocent. That's what we're looking at it. And so that was not nearly as polarizing, even though it was something that garnered such wide national attention. But the Rittenhouse trial, we all heard this narrative, which was being shoved by what you call corporate media. I call them legacy media, and only because they're names that are known for decades, generations. Right. So, but I think corporate media is equally fair. And Yeah, everyone saw the narrative that's being promoted there, which, you know, and the defamation of who Kyle Rittenhouse was, as if that would be a basis to convict him, even if he was all the horrible things that he was saying. And we were just astonished because we see the video. If not for the video, the whole Rittenhouse trial is a whole different story. No one would understand how innocent he was without all that video. The video was so, the term we use in Latin in amongst lawyers is res ipsa loquitur, which is Latin for the thing speaks for itself. So, you know, for example, you don't have to prove that a calendar is from the year 2017 if it's got 2017 written all over it. So that's a concept of it speaks for itself. I don't need to attest to the fact that it's from 2017. I'm not sure if that actually would apply, but you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes you look at something and it just says more than any words could possibly say about it. And those videos were so clear how this is a kid running for his life from a mob or from some crazy lunatic charging at him and trying to just defend himself. And yet we're hearing all this talk about how he's this evil kid who went there trying to kill people, and this narrative, and it became so polarizing that could be something that would not be repeated on a frequent basis, that you have a case that's so polarizing, even if you have such a big case like the Maxwell trial that I was covering. So that was one which was not polarizing. The entire world wanted to see this woman put away forever. So it's not like there was like two sides of it where you feel like that rooting interest. In the Rittenhouse trial, it's like we felt like when we heard him, all those not guilties, you know, I started tearing up. A lot of people, you know, just erupted in euphoria, whereas on the other side there was, you know, genuine anguish. You don't have that where it's like, you know, my team versus your team in most trials. So whether or not that will repeat on a regular basis, I don't know. But what I do know is that Trump changed the way the public at large look at the media. He really popularized the term fake news. I don't know if he coined it or if he just popularized it, but it doesn't really matter. Without him, there would be no common concept of fake news, and people being awakened to the fact that, hey, this is crap. We're watching a lot of crap here. It's stupid. And they're starting from a certain agenda, and they're going to frame everything to fit that narrative, where it's like, you know, the same way Ilhan Omar said, you know, some planes did the thing flying into the airplanes. We have now, you know, because it's a black driver, it's like this car drove through a parade, or the Let's Go Brandon effect. All of this is basically reflective of the same. Let's try and, like, you know, convince our viewers to believe what I tell you, not what you see. And Americans are getting sick of it. So, and I think it's even starting to become something that on the left, it's starting to smack them in the face. We're like, this is just ridiculous. This is just propaganda. It's not news. So I think that it could be that this search for genuine, unfiltered, harsh truth is something that becomes the way of the future. I will tell you, it's something that was interesting there when you say, you know, you don't think anything was watered down. I don't think we could water it down, because if I'm in a law tube, you have to put yourself in our shoes, put in your sister's shoes, in my shoes, in all the members of law tube shoes. So we all want to contribute, right? I'm sitting here with 7, 8 other really smart people. They're all attorneys. They all understand what they're watching. They all, you know, have, you know, they're all going to take us. We'll all see, let's say 90% the same thing at the same time. But 10 to 15% of it, we might have our own little unique perspective on it, our own insight. So in order for me to display my value to the audience, which is part of what the whole agenda is here. Look, I'm spending hours a day after day. I'm spending my entire day sitting in front of a camera. Yeah, part of my agenda here is I'm trying to help promote my channel, get my name out there, get my face out there.
Exactly.
Well, if I'm just going to sit there mutely the entire time, well, why the heck is anyone interested in me compared to the other 7, 8 people? They're just sort of like, you know, I sort of blend into the background there. So part of what you want to do when you're sitting there is you want to be respectful. You don't want to overtalk anyone on the trial. You don't want to overtalk anyone else while they're talking. So you're sort of looking for your spot to share your unique perspective. Well,
Right.
your unique perspective is not going to be watered down. It's going to be something that's completely unique and you know, from your own eyes, and hence it almost forced each of us to up our game to bring something that much more. That's not. I'm not in competition,
Right.
you know, with any of them. If we all rise, that's great, but at the same time, I don't want to blend completely into the background.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of am forced to sort of think about things from a different perspective. I want to share truth. I want to share, you know, my perspective. But yeah, nothing's going to be watered down. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, we're all looking to just, you know, we're not looking to sit here saying this person wins because I like their politics. This person wins because they look more like me. It's a matter of, we all just want the truth out there. We're sick of lies and we just want the truth out there. So
Sure.
between those elements, that there's no rooting interest and that we're trying to show our unique skills, so you're going to get 8 intelligent people who are sitting there basically giving you very sharp insight and interacting. And then when you hear someone else say something, you're like, huh, I never thought about that. And you just sort of poke each other with different questions, not in a provocatory way, but more of a matter of like, well, what would you say about this? And how did you think about that? And
Right.
and it just sort of helps us each just grow as journalists, lawyers, whatever it is that we're doing, however you want to coin what we're doing here.